This video is about installing some soft close full extension drawer slides in a base cabinet that is in a blind corner that you can't get to the left side in this case. This is the cabinet, and this is what a blind corner cabinet kind of looks like. So that back, this is my model of my specific cabinet. These are the three drawers that I want to put in. Two normal ones and one that's going to be sliding transverse the other way. There's a tank in the way, by the way, up at the top. There's a water tank. Anyway, when I got done, everything fit in there, almost everything fit in there. But it still wasn't easy to get at that stuff in the back. Those are baking things that we don't need too often, but you can get to them all. So that's basically what I did. This is the details if you want to stick around and watch what I did. So first thing I did was open up the hinge and make sure that I didn't have any problem with the interference with the slides, which I didn't. And there's the tank that I was telling you about. So I used a table saw with a panel cutting jig and a chop saw at a 45 and then an air nailer. And this is not a woodworking video. I cut the rectangular panels out of 3/4 inch plywood, and then I took some scrap or some leftover 1/2 inch 3 by 3.5 boards to make the sides, and I glued. Anyway, this is the first rail I'm going to be working on, and it goes just measuring back. I want to set this block so that I can use it. So I put that block in place at the right 18 inches back there, and screwed it in from the other side. So those are the two blocks. And I've got that installed now, and I want to put the one on the other side, and I need to know how far back from the back wall this is. And so I just marked on a scrap piece of wood and then moved it over to the other side and marked that wall. And then I put a screw in there to push against, just so that I could place the other slide. And so that went in pretty straightforward. So I got both of those slides in now, and so I'm going to try to put the drawer in. But what I'm going to do before that is I'm going to push these little soft close mechanisms in so that I can get the drawer in there a little easier because it's pretty tight. So when I tried to put the drawer in the first time, I couldn't get it to go in there right. I tried a few times and realized that something wasn't quite right. It was like it was too far away. And then I started looking at that back wall, and see, it fell there. So I started looking at that back wall, and it was like out from it was bulged out because it's a very, very thick, thin piece of paneling there. It wasn't a 1/2 inch plywood. So I put this bracket in to pull that thing in to where it should have been. And then I could kind of trust the factory dimensions of the cabinet again. But it was definitely out of whack. So when I tried it after putting that bracket in place, I was able to get the drawer in there properly. Takes a while to line up because you can't really see what's going on there in the back. Kind of just do it by feel. And you can hear it kind of snap into place. And then it went ahead and it bound. So I was like, why is this not sliding back all the way? It seems like it's working all the way out. So then I realized, maybe it's this. Unless you manually flip those soft close mechanisms back open, the drawer slides don't go all the way in. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll figure out how to turn. Okay, that's what you need to do. You need to pull that out and click that soft close mechanism. And then when the drawer slide comes back in there, it pulls it shut, as it should. So I went in and updated these, sort of charged the soft close mechanisms, and thought that would solve my problem. So I put the drawer back in. Oh, this should have got cut out. Sorry about this. Again, still didn't go in all the way. And it turns out that I forgot to take that screw out. So once I took the screw out, then the drawer slid in properly. So This is the next hinge I'm going to be working on. This is the left one on the bottom. As you'll see, that's where it goes. It's going to have a bracket on the back, but you really know where to place that bracket. You know, you want it perpendicular, and I suppose I could have used a square, but as it turns out, I didn't use a square. I'll show you the way I did it. I used this, I trusted that the one on the right was correct, and the one on the left I just made the right distance apart. And I marked it, and I moved it out of the way and drilled it, because your drill is kind of in the way. It's too big to get a straight hole drilled. So when I put the drawer in there, it was tight and wasn't closing quite properly. It was really tight on the way back. I mean, it closed almost all the way, but not all the way. And I thought, well, it's kind of too tight on the back there. So my spacing block that I used to position to that hinge right there wasn't quite right. And so you can't barely see this, but I moved it over just a fraction, and then it worked. So it was just a little bit on the tight side. My spacing block wasn't perfect. Okay, so now the last set of hinges, I put this right hinge on, and I put some tape on the end of my spacing block to make it a little bit tighter, and I put it in the back, and it was correct, and I marked those holes, drilled, and secured the bracket. But when I put this in, it's too high on the left. There it is. There it goes. And when I put this one in, it stuck out on the front right, basically meaning that this block on the right, the red block on the right, it was too close. It should have been a thicker block. It wasn't quite thick enough. So I shimmed that out a little bit, and I moved these holes over just a fraction, put new screws in them, and not new screws, but I put the screws back and got that bracket mounted again. And when I get this drawer in there, you'll see that it no longer sticks out, and it closes flush, and the cabinet closes. So there are all my slides installed, and here's all the pots and pans. It's difficult to get to those ones that slide in a transverse direction, but they're baking dishes. Just remove the mixing bowls, and then you can get to the baking dishes, which I don't show here, and I don't show pulling that out either. It's kind of a pain in the neck to get to, but it all fits in there. Almost everything is back in there, like 95% of it. So anyway, hopefully this was a helpful video for you.